Oh my, the tightest of margins, this league title.
Absolutely.
It doesn't get much tighter than that.
There are thicker smartphones.
Yeah, there are, definitely. Marcus, have you got a much better memory for this kind of stuff than me? But was there not a very, very tight goal line technology decision in the Man City-Liverpool game as well?
When?
A ball just either did or didn't go over the line, or have I made that up? I'm pretty sure it was something to do with John Stones, maybe?
It rings a bell.
It's a long season, can't remember.
Luis Garcia scored the only goal.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the tightest of tight margins.
Ridiculous.
And also a rare outing for... The thing is, it's not a rare outing, but to me it feels like it is. Referee Paul Tierney.
Yeah.
23 Premier League games
Like
this
a
season. he's done.
substitute referee.
Yeah.
Has he been naughty? Has he
You
just
sort of forget he's there.
He's done 23 games, but I'm not sure if anyone could pick him up out of
No,
the lineup.
I see his name pop up every now and then.
A Fraser Campbell type. Like seeing him come
Little
off the
bit.
bench for someone and go, oh yeah.
He's still around. Does that not say that he's a good referee?
I guess so, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, if he's the Fraser Campbell of referees.
Back
Although
at-
Fraser Campbell, I mean, you know.
No, but not noticing a referee is a good thing, isn't it? Which is what
I
people
see what you mean. See what you mean.
It's like not noticing a defender or something. He just
Who's
gets on with it.
Who would you compare Mike Dean to a footballer's career?
Well, Messi.
Joey Barton.
Joey
You
Barton.
always know when he's on the bloody field.
Probably Kanye West.
just to avoid all the correspondence we will undoubtedly get,
Yeah.
Liverpool were apparently 11 millimetres away from scoring against Man City
Okay.
in
That's
January.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay,
I think like it's real testament to Burnley, isn't it? And how good they are at digging in. That it took that from City. They really had to force the issue because the thing with City, we said it before, they are so good at those sort of like sustained attacks. Like if they get into your box, like they're like a sort of like murderous drifter because they just will not let you out of the woods. Like they are like like you might save one, but there'll be 2 or 3 more chances because their feet are so quick. They all know what they're doing, and Burnley are among the best in the league at standing up to that, and they did so on many occasions.
What I love about it, Jim, is the fact that Burnley have turned their season around. Second half of the season, they've been great. First half, they're very poor. The reason that they're safe now is because of their most recent form. But you just know, and none of us were there, obviously, when the team talk happened, but you know that Sean Dyche and his men would absolutely love to have a say in that title race. Even if it's kind of like a little sort of a side note, they were well up for it. And the first half, they made things very difficult. And had it not been for Chris Wood's wayward touch, there was a chance they could. Edison was brilliantly off his line, as he always is. But there was a chance they could have gone into the break a goal ahead, and then it would have been on because obviously at this stage of the season. They've got to score 2 then because they have to win.
Were you not a little bit disappointed in the last 20 minutes of that match? I thought Burnley could have showed a bit more. They weren't going to get anything out of them. Although Tom Heaton was brilliant and he'd said
England's
he'd got
number
out of
2
drill a few times. But it was just I thought they could have shown a bit more and left themselves exposed at the back.
Sure. Well, I find
go for it. Go for it. Have a say.
Have a say.
Have a say.
Be part of the narrative.
But I think I think that's perhaps the difference between Liverpool and Manchester City, in which both sides are trying to get every win. Liverpool beat Huddersfield 5-0 for crying out loud, so let's not use that one. But Manchester City, when they go...
That annoyed the shit out of me, that. Sorry to cut in.
What, 5-0?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was a Friday night. I like the idea of Friday night football. It's interesting. And then you think, Huddersfield, you could have a say in this. They could make it difficult. 15 seconds.
No more.
15 seconds is all I'm saying. At least give me that. 15 seconds is a disgrace.
But come on, Liverpool's press was phenomenal there. And Huddersfield are already relegated and out of their depth.
Inspired by Shane Long?
Yeah.
They're
True.
away at one of the best sides in the league. They're effectively a demoralised championship team at this point.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm surprised
do you
you're
know
highlighting
what?
that.
Do you know what? I just feel like with the setup that game was, Huddersfield would have needed everything to go right for them. I get that. But I just think as a fan, with no real skin in that game, you sit down to watch a game, and you know, as soon as that first goal's gone, after 15 seconds, the game's over. It's a shame. It's hard to not feel disappointed about that.
Really, and this will have annoyed you as well, Mark, is within that 15 seconds, not one Huddersfield player was
Got
booked.
Yeah.
That's become our new kind of thing. If
It
you're
has a
not
bit.
booked, you're not trying.
There's a really good... sorry, Mark, very, very quick. There's a very, very good article that I shared with you guys. I don't know if you had a chance to read it yet. And I'll share it with the listeners as well, written by Ken Early. I forget which publication he writes for, possibly
the Irish Times,
Irish
I
Times,
believe.
yeah. About... it was spawned by the debate that Roy Keane and Graham Souness and Gary Neville had, and we had a laugh about that, obviously, last week. And it was about the idea that you're now... It's outdated to think about you going up against your man individually as a defender. It's all about systems. It's all about how the system scores. And actually, Huddersfield was another good example because Huddersfield are so loyal to that kind of system where they play out from the back as well. That actually, if they had been a Premier League team of that size 15 years ago, they'd have taken the goal kick long and they never would have conceded that early goal. It's very well worth digging out by Ken Early, worth reading.
Yeah, some of the stats in it are really interesting as well about how much passing is the actual rate of passing has almost doubled. It's incredible. But staying on the Burnley game, if we may,
or going back to it,
rather, is there an argument that Ashley Barnes is the biggest shithouse in the Premier League?
He's had an absolutely remarkable second half of the season.
He really has.
He's added goals to his shithousery, which then has kind of obscured the shithousery because he's saying, "Well, I'm also scoring goals."
Yeah, but the kissing thing from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
When he was sort of like going sort of, forehead to forehead with a player as they do, and he just gave him a couple little pecks on the mouth.
Yeah,
it's a real power play, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of other players who you would have up against them. I don't know whether it is the lack of bodily fluids that I have or don't have, but I can't think of anybody who's a bit of a shithouse.
Yeah, I feel like with Ashley Barnes, and I know I say this a lot, and it may say more about me than anything else, but he seems like he probably would have been a bit of a wrong un at school. Like someone even sounds like one. Oh, Ashley Barnes is looking for you. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it is a bit old school, isn't it?
In Vardy's league or not?
I think more so. He looks harder than Vardy.
Yeah,
Vardy
they'd be mates.
Trouble.
They'd be mates, and Vardy would be the one slinging insults. Going, Ashley, do you hear what he said about your mum?
Vardy's like the Richard Hammond.
Yeah, very much.
And
so.
Barnes is like the Clark.
No,
Yeah,
Vardy's
also hard. I don't think it works with Top Gear. Vardy's not Hammond.
Vardy's like
Vardy gets
kind of
stuck in if he wanted to.
A spooky little slight boy who like slides from in between some lockers.
Vardy's chatting up the girls.
Yeah.
And then Barnes is looking for the punches.
Yeah.
And then when he finds them, then Vardy will get involved.
I think Vardy would have been that Hammond Weasley type when he was younger, but there would then have been the double nightmare of him actually growing up to be quite hard. So.
Yeah. But Barnes, you originally made the point that Barnes is a shithouse, and that's absolutely fair enough. But he has, in the second half of the season, his second half of the season has mirrored Burnley's, really.
Yeah.
I think he's got 8 or 9 of his goals. He's got 11 Premier League goals this season, which is not bad.
Yeah.
8 or 9 of them have come in the second half of the season.
And when I say that, I mean it almost as a compliment, because he looks like an absolute nightmare to play against. He's always in your ear. He's every challenge is committed and full, and he's, as you say, he's an absolutely huge part of them doing so well.
But he didn't do Liverpool a favour. Maybe his shithousery mate Jamie Vardy will. Who knows? But Manchester City, though, go back to Pete's point about just seeing the game out. I think when they start to knock it around, they have that. Whereas I don't think any other side really in the league does.
Do you know what I think?
And I think it's such a professional job they do.
I agree.
But you've got to get the second, really, to be sure. But I just think that's why when Man City go, right, 5 minutes left or whatever, let's pass them. Let's just take the sting out.
It's about control of the game, isn't
and
it?
it's magnificent. You have to take your hat off.
Sergio Aguero as well. Like he's just got a great head for kind of pressure. He always pops up at a really important matches.
It's also remarkable to think that when Guardiola came in, there was a lot of talk. Because one of the first things
he might go.
He
Not
brought
sort of
Jesus in, and that he wouldn't be able to work hard enough. But he's flourished. He's absolutely flourished. He's going to be an all-time Premier League great.
He's now scored over 20 goals in 6 Premier League seasons.
Wow.
Up there with Alan.
Only your man's done more, isn't
Up
he?
there with War Allen. War Allen.
Yeah.
You say it.
War Allen.
Yeah.
What is it good for?
Scoring goals.
Quite a lot, it would seem. Raheem Sterling has won the Young Player of the Season and the Writers' Player of the Season. Of course, Virgil van Dijk has won the Player of the Season.
I've got no beef, but I don't know if a 24-year-old established international and senior pro at the best club in the world arguably should be young.
So they need
player.
to change the rule there.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think probably
we've had this for a while.
A bit of a hangover. It needs to be probably 21, I think, now.
Yeah, or the same rules that the under-21s have. So James Milner can still win it.
He's still playing for him, isn't he? Yeah. But credit to Sterling because he's done brilliantly well, both on and off the pitch.
He's had a phenomenal season.
He has, and he's also been phenomenal off the pitch. And I don't know whether that's factored in, but he's been a real in a horrible time. He's been a shining light, and well done him.
It's almost fitting that the back page writers have their say as opposed to the front page writers of the newspaper, which of course portray Raheem Sterling in a very different light.
An excellent point. My favourite goal of his this season. That first one away to Spain.
Yeah.
Because he's been brilliant for England.
He's starting to add goals to his game for England. If he continues to add goals for England the way he has done recently, he's got, say, maybe he's got another 8 or 9 years in him as an international player. He could finish up with a lot of goals.
Sterling could be a Premier League great.
Yes.
I mean, he's 24 years old and he feels like he's been around forever, doesn't
Absolutely right. What he's achieved. He's been phenomenal and been said before, and I'll bloody well say it again because credit where credit's due. The way Guardiola has helped hone that goal-scoring side of his game finishing the chances and whatnot, because he used to get in the positions and he would score a few, but could be a little bit wasteful. He's phenomenal. He's up there with that second tier of the best in the world. So obviously, the best in the world are still those two, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's the award he's getting from the Football Ramble.
There you go, the best of the rest.
You're talking about Portsmouth's Jamal Lowe and Matthew Clark. Those two.
Only mentioned for Portsmouth.
Probably the final one of the day.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next week, though, you never know.
Yeah.
But Man City have Leicester and Brighton left. Now, I said that Burnley was the one. Well, I was only joking.
Yeah,
you meant for Arsenal, didn't you?
You were checking the score every 5 minutes.
Did you see how good Leicester were against Arsenal?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
to
be
be
honest,
honest, a bit of a hand from Arsenal, didn't they?
They did have an enormous hand.
You will.
But no, Man City should beat Leicester and Brighton, shouldn't they, Man City fans?
Well, when we were in Lisbon, you spoke to a Man City fan, and it was like, oh, I thought that we were home and dry, but then you started mentioning the Burnley match, and I got all a bit worried. I was a bit annoyed about that. So
Wait, they won? They won, didn't
They
they?
did win.
If
Yeah.
Just the one, against Spurs.
If the Leicester game was away from home, I think you'd have a shout because Leicester looked good against Arsenal, and we can't allow Jim to boil over by talking about them too much. But I think the fact that Man City are playing Leicester at home and Brighton look so far off the pace now, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's hard to make an argument to say that Man City aren't going to
Come on,
win it.
Leicester.
Yeah.
Come on, Leicester.
It really feels like both Man City and Liverpool will win both of their remaining games.
See, I don't know, Jim.
Leicester.
I don't know if I agree with that purely because Newcastle have been in such good form, and Wolves love a big occasion.
Yeah, I just feel like Liverpool haven't conceded a goal on the break this season.
Yeah, it's crazy. isn't
Mad.
it? Yeah.
Absolutely
And Newcastle
mad. And I
just drew
just feel
against
like
Brighton.
Well, they haven't played
Yeah.
Iosi Perez, have they?
that's true.
True. Good point.
Yeah.
My player of the season. There we are.
The player of your heart.
Indeed,
Bit quiet about Andre Townsend at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Tell him you've been ill.
Well,
I've not been watching the Premier League.
Yeah,
think
I've been
maybe
really
maybe that's
I'll
why
take
he
you
was
not
on
to mention it.
I heard
Maybe that's why he
rumours-
was on the toilet.
I
so
heard
worried.
I heard rumours that Andros, I think I mentioned this on the show, that picked up an injury when he punched the dugout the other week, and that's why he's on the bench at the moment. And I'm like, come on, Roy. Come on, don't worry about the hand.
If anything, that gets him closer to the dugout. It's a punch.
We don't want him closer to the dugout.
No,
We want him
hit it
far
again.
away. That's
So
true.
Marcus has been diagnosed with Townsenditis.
Yeah.
Manchester United and Chelsea drew 1-1. They didn't lose Manchester United, but the point wasn't much help for them.
The
really.
winner was there for Chelsea at the end, but they
Oh.
didn't take it.
True. I suppose, it depends how you spin it, doesn't it? But they remain 3 points behind Chelsea, I think, with 2 games left. But yeah, Manchester United, it looks like the season just petering out for them.
Well,
doesn't it?
the great thing is, unless you're a Man United fan, the last 2 games of the season, Huddersfield away and Cardiff at home, we get to see exactly how bad they are.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all fairly convinced they're quite bad.
Yeah.
We just need to know exactly how bad they are.
What's going to happen in the first 15 seconds against Huddersfield?
Who knows? They'll get a
David De Gea
booking.
will
First half,
disappear.
first half, Lukaku was dropping very deep and provide some pretty decent passes. And it just did not. He just did not replicate.
Gary Neville was fuming, wasn't
Yeah.
he? How unfit Lukaku looked.
Was he dropping deep to try and
Because
find
he's
a move?
tired.
Yeah.
Digging around, seeing
trying
what
to
he
find
can
an
get.
energy drink.
That was an interesting challenge from Marcus Rojo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was
It was
outrageous.
Strong, wasn't it?
Naughty.
Naughty.
And another error from De Gea, who you got to make the argument, because obviously Sergio Romero is decent, possibly with the exception of, I know Pope's not fit, but Pope and Heaton's a good pair of goalkeepers at one club.
And Joe Hart. It's a
Romero.
great trio.
I'm not including him in that.
All right.
Romero and haven't Burnley announced they're not going to renew his contract?
Probably.
Yeah, Romero and De Gea. I mean, Romero's a fantastic backup goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's got loads of international caps.
Yeah.
So you wonder whether, given the contract situation with De Gea, whether it's worth bringing Romero in for the last 2 games of the season,
Yeah, look at
giving
him.
him a bit of time.
He's
out
not
the
that
final.
great, Romero.
I think he's
He's
decent.
error prone as well, but I mean De Gea at the moment. I mean they're even talking about this in the commentary during the game. Like it's clearly a tactic from opposition teams now to shoot at him from distance and see if you get any joy. I mean, otherwise is Antonio Rudiger bombing forward and having a shot from distance?
Is it normal?
That's got to be on instruction.
So
right?
you wouldn't drop him for the last couple of games.
I think he's become.
It
Nah,
depends on the
just-
player. It
Just let him
depends.
get to the end of the season.
I was going to
He's-
say, like, Huddersfield, surely, come on, it depends on the player. I think that De Gea's been such a great performer for that club over the years. I mean, he's even had a few good performances this season. It's been unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think, as Pete, as you said the other day, the end of the season needs to come very quickly for that man. And it's a great shame because he's a phenomenal keeper and he's been a phenomenal player for
The
Manchester
problem is
United.
he's going to play himself out of a move if he's not careful.
Yeah.
They're going to start changing their mind.
He probably
Real
doesn't
Madrid.
want to play. Oh, my
Yeah.
legs, my big long
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah. But I mean, Chelsea. Do you think they're going to finish in the top 4? I mean, Arsenal can't win.
Well,
Neither
I
can
thi-
Manchester
I think,
United.
yeah.
That's usually not helpful.
I think it's a funny season, isn't it? Because it's been it's been so good at the top with the top 2.
Yeah.
But I think if you go slightly further down, that obviously Spurs have had a good season, but they've still lost 12 games.
Yeah.
And Chelsea and Arsenal have been all over the place as well. Man United, of course, have their own struggles. It's like the bottom third of the top 6 have been so odd and inconsistent.
I know what you mean. But I mean, Chelsea, I know obviously they take no consolation in being in a final, the losers in a final, but League Cup final probably should get to the Europa
Yeah.
League final.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They finished top 4. I mean, it's not a bad season potentially. Potentially though. But again, the same could be said for Arsenal. I mean, if
Jim,
Arsenal,
isn't it going to need Arsenal to win at Burnley in the last day of the season?
I think it will need Arsenal
That's who they're
to
playing,
win
isn't it?
both games. Yeah,
Yeah.
Burnley away is a nightmare.
and
That's
the
the final
Europa,
day, isn't it?
and the
Yeah.
Europa League to get into the Champions League.
Absolutely, yeah, but which is very away, like so far away.
yeah.
In
If
Baku.
the law, if it's like genuinely is the law of diminishing
Away
returns
square.
for Arsenal, yeah, then you can understand. Did they get a narrow win at Watford?
Yes.
Very close by.
10-man.
Leicester.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only about 80 miles north
Yeah.
of London.
Yeah.
That was a 3-0.
Yeah.
They're going to lose about 40-0 in Baku.
Yeah, I
if they
expect.
get there.
I expect that Arsenal will probably drop points in both of those games based on what we've seen recently. I really do. I know if they do end up, I mean, they've got to get past Valencia, but we need to get revenge on Valencia for selling us Mustafi. So I would hope that would motivate us to get
Was it
through
Derek
that.
Trotter that was the head of football there?
I believe
at
it
that
was.
time. Yeah.
Yes.
You bought Mustafi. Where'd you get him from? At a covered market.
Yeah, we found him in a skip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a gradually unfolding nightmare.
But mind you, though, West Ham beating Spurs.
Yep.
That provided a bit of joy, football and
that
joy
was-
for the
that was
weekend
fun.
for you.
Good
What a
goal.
great win. Oh, Antonio.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
God,
had a
it's
chance
such
to repeat it as well, didn't he? But he fluffed it a little
Very
bit. But good on
likeable
him.
football player.
Absolutely.
Marko Arnautovic with a lovely assist.
It
Yeah.
is approaching the end of the season.
That's the last. That's surely the end credits of Marko Arnautovic's Premier League
Yeah.
movie.
No, absolutely. That's like the post-credit scene
The
in a
Marvel
Marvel
scene.
movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It has to be. it
Yeah.
has to
West
be.
Ham were the first team to win at the Emirates as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
They got a little.
They will love that.
Oh my
Having that
goodness!
double.
Won't they
If
just?
every team got a new stadium in the same season, West Ham win the league.
Now let's talk about Brighton and Newcastle, because Brighton, it was a big point in one sense, but also they missed the chance to all but secure their Premier League safety.
I still think they'll be all right,
But
Marcus.
Glenn Murray had a chance late on.
He did. It's
Yeah.
one of those ones though, because it was very close to the goal line. But it is, headers are a. I'm not going to say they're a lottery, but they're like. But you know how that ball came down pretty much on the top of his head, and if that happens, you've got no chance of controlling it. So if it had fallen a little bit further in front of him and he could have got his forehead on it, that would have been, obviously that's a sitter and he's got a score. But
I know what you mean.
It would have been very difficult for him to actually score that from that position. I think.
Sure, I think Brighton relieved to get a point because they're 4 in front of Cardiff, now.
And they've been absolutely dreadful.
They've
They
been
were
dreadful.
so
Well,
bad in the first
relieved to score a bloody goal.
Yeah,
I think probably.
I didn't see the game, but they looked so bereft of confidence. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting because Houghton has brought in some reasonably exciting attacking players, and yet they just all seem to be scared to do anything. And I mean, Newcastle have been in good form, but Brighton are the home side, and it's a destination. I mean, I say it over and over again. The Amex is a destination. Brighton could turn that into a fortress. And they have less possession than Newcastle at home in a game where they're fighting for their lives and Newcastle got nothing to play for. To me, it just feels like they've not got the confidence.
Yeah, I watched the game and they were very, very timid in the first half. They were actually on their longest run without a goal in their history going into this game.
Was it actually on TV?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
That was on telly.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It was a 5:30 game on Saturday.
5.
It was, and Brighton were booed at half time because they displayed such a lack of adventure, and they weren't even making the runs. They just seemed so nervous and seemed to play within themselves.
For
And
the Newcastle goal, but Bernardo just went completely missing. That's why, no one was marking Perez, and he just lashed it.
Yeah.
Great
Easier
technique.
said than done, though, isn't
fair,
it? That
Knocked
player.
down from Rondon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
and then
great.
Perez.
But fair play to Brighton. They turned it around the second half and they were a lot better. But Perez, I think, had injured himself before he even scored and kept going.
He went off
Real
in the
worry.
end.
Do you think that will add some some value to his price tag? That he's demonstrated that he can still score when injured?
It's worth at least another $500,000.
Football's mad. Like the Premier League is mad because we started this season, maybe 2 or 3 months in, saying, "Oh, Pete's going on," and I'm not saying having a go. Well, I am a little bit.
No, please do.
Like you're a wanker. No, is that
I empirically am.
Pete say?
I'm doing it right now.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
Pete
Doesn't even need his hands anymore.
What I'm doing is kind of a broadcasting masturbation, as I do every week.
Bringing back previous victories.
The situation was that the general consensus was that if you want to have a good Premier League campaign, you need to farm out £2 million strikers and start being serious in the transfer market and getting players in and doing decent business. Now, if this carries on, they'll be lucky to keep hold of him.
Yeah,
They're not moving him on. You can move him on, all right, for about 40 million, based on what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, but it'd be massively Newcastle now. He's scored a few goals, and then at the end of the season, they sell him for like 6 million.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be forgotten though that
And they get a national call up.
It shouldn't be forgotten that a lot of his game has been improved by the fact that Miguel Almiron, who wasn't playing this match, his speed just scares the crap out of people, and it's kind of freed him up a little bit, and he's always able to arrive.
But he's linked up with Rondon very well this season.
Oh yeah,
hasn't he?
I would have at this moment in time, if they can maintain that kind of form, that is a really decent pairing
Combo,
and that's not something I ever.
Marcus.
Well, I have because he just didn't have anyone to play with.
No,
last
it's
season,
true.
did
I mean, I read a piece saying exactly this is sort of.
and also Rafa's a
laying it
fucking
out
good
with-
manager.
He is.
So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Who we won't have next season.
But the reason
He's taking Perez with him.
Indeed, it is. The reason why I go back to Brighton, though, that they're probably going to be okay is because Cardiff buggered up against Fulham.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Me
Cardiff
and
won
Mark-
that.
What on earth was that about?
Me and Marcus in the back of the car and gone to the game. Got the game in smooching. Got the game in Lisbon, and Marcus was about as angry as I've ever seen. He was like,
As angry as he
What's
was when
that
Arsenal
about?
didn't beat Atletico in the Europa League.
Oh, I don't.
No, you actually said before we came on air that you're still angry about that. Or the Leicester game would have annoyed you so
"What's
much.
that
mate.
about?"
I think
What's that
people who
about?"
listen to this show underestimate Marcus's anger.
Yeah.
At that game,
Doesn't
I think
come
they
across very
probably
often,
do.
does it?
Honestly, Leicester would have made you insane.
No, I expect that.
Honestly, Alex Iwobi
Jim,
reminded me
they-
of how William would play if William was blind.
You're missing the
and
point.
it just, sorry.
You're missing the point of the context. Arsenal should have been Atletico Madrid, and they would have beaten Marseille in the final, and it would have been absolutely brilliant for Wenger to hand a European trophy over and a Champions League spot the next season. That should have happened, and those pissing players buggered it up for him.
Marcus, what about me makes you think I hadn't thought of all that?
I mean, I know Cardiff played. Sorry to drag this back to the actual running order.
3 wins and 3 clean sheets since they've been
Yeah, but
relegated.
I
What's
know-
the pissing point of that?
I know Cardiff play in a certain way, and I get it, and it's completely outrageous to suggest that they would change their entire system or whatever. But they are playing against Fulham in a game they have to win, and they have 27% possession. I mean, you could probably maybe just jam that up to 35% possession and give yourself more of a chance. I know they had a lot more shots and stuff, but
I just reckon one of those wins or clean sheets would have come in handy for Fulham before they got relegated.
how disgraceful are Fulham on that basis? You
You
angry with those players because of the way they've conducted themselves?
I'm just angry.
It's apparently after a nuclear explosion. There's something called hypergrowth, where plants start to grow
Where
bigger and stronger
Scott
than
Parker
they ever
comes
have
in
before.
and lays
yeah.
a load of seeds.
The worst thing is,
Steady.
when we look back on this season in 5 or 6 years' time,
Will we?
we'll think Fulham are unlucky to go down. They went down by 2 points. No, they went down in fucking March.
Yeah.
When they went down.
Is it because they're sort of they're so accommodating that now they're relegated? They're just like
Yeah, but we've seen this before, though, haven't we?
We've dished enough points out.
We've seen this before from sides who get relegated and then they can relax and whatnot.
We're
But-
not
Ryan
not
Babel.
Huddersfield,
What
by
was
the
it?
way.
Alex Ferguson's last game, which was a 5-5 draw with West Brom. Were they
Yes.
already relegated?
What, Man United?
Yeah, no, West Brom.
Can't remember.
I don't think they were. But what a goal from Ryan Babel,
It was
though.
beautiful. He's had a brilliant.
He's
second
done
half of the
well.
season.
He has
Yeah.
done
He's earned
well.
himself a move somewhere good.
He needs to go somewhere else, you would say. But Cardiff, they need 2 wins against Palace, winnable game. So was that Fulham one, though. And then Manchester United, another winnable game.
Yeah.
But Brighton have Arsenal, winnable, and drawable. And then Manchester City. It is, I mean, if you're a Cardiff fan, you'd be beside yourself that they didn't get even a point against flipping Fulham. But Brighton playing Arsenal away, and then I think it's Arsenal away, and then Man City. Surely Brighton aren't going to get any points there. And Cardiff need to go into that Manchester United game needing a win, because the way Man United are playing at the moment, they can be got at.
Yeah, of course.
Shoot on sight policy.
Absolutely.
So that Cardiff versus Crystal Palace game will be an intriguing one. Will Andros Townsend break their hearts or another dugout? We shall find out.
Imagine that, like if Cardiff go in with a shoot on site policy and end up winning about 4-0 with about 15% possession.
Doing Everton.
Yeah.
So it's still a little bit of something. Obviously, Manchester City will want Brighton to be safe by the last day because, if they beat Leicester, then they don't want to be going into that one, do they? Against a solid, stern Brighton.
Stop, Marcus, you're trying to. I've never seen someone so laboured to try and stir up imaginative narratives that don't ever actually exist.
West Brom's Champions League push.
Yeah. I forgot about that. The very idea that Manchester City are going to go down to Brighton on the final day, that lovely May afternoon, like full of trepidation. when, as Jim's already said, Brighton have gone the longest without scoring a single goal in their entire history as a club. I don't think it's a recipe for disaster, is it?
You wouldn't have thought so.
No.
But what about Southampton? They're safe. Yay!
What a game that was. That was brilliant.
3 each.
Lovely curled finish from James Ward-Prowse, who, and this is niche, looks like a young version of the wrestler Edge.
Okay,
throwing it
I'll
out
take
there.
that, yeah.
I couldn't help
you.
you with that. I can't help you with that.
It was a good game, though. Southampton. Hasenhutl's kept them up.
Yes,
Job done.
He's done a great job. Because,
Job
you know,
done.
as they were looking at being one of those sort of very much chaffy, doldrumsy Premier League clubs, just going through the Mark Hughes sort of cycle, and then they got back on track with getting an interesting forward-thinking manager in, and they just look like they've undone the last season or so.
There's a bit of intensity at times with.
It's got so much. They looked. I mean, as far back as under Pellegrini, they looked like they didn't know. Pellegrino, of course. They looked like they didn't know who they were and what the point of anything was. They
That
just
was
looked
just
bereft of
Pellegrino.
ideas. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite.
They
but they've
literally
turned that around.
reflected him. Yeah.
But it made you think, oh, this is a squad with very little quality in it. But clearly that wasn't the case.
If I was a Southampton player, I'd be like, I'm not looking forward to pre-season. He's going to ride us and ride us hard, isn't he?
As I said last week, it's exciting for Southampton fans to see what's possible with this squad and this exciting manager. He's shown that his techniques and his management is works across different countries. And I'll be honest, I'd have loved him to have gone down. It's been brilliant, but it's not going to happen.
I like how you always say that.
I would have.
Everyone knows.
But Southampton fans would expect me to say nothing different.
No, I think they're just a bit
Are you saying that you're playing to the gallery? That's what they want from you. Is
Are
it?
they up in the gallery?
Get tickets at ramblelive.com.
Yeah.